Hello there and very good evening. This is Primetime News on TV1 for the News First team. I am Jayama Ratnayaka. Today is the 1st of May 2023. Every year on the 1st of May, International Workers' Day, commonly known as May Day, is celebrated. What started off at the Haymarket Square so many years ago has turned into a global movement and is now celebrated to recognize the efforts of the working masses in every country, including in Sri Lanka. And with that, let's start off with a look at your headlines for tonight.
International Labour Day celebrations in Kandy and Colombo. President extends invitation to work together as the SJB also accepts an open economy policy. No alliances with those who ruin the country. SJB response. JVP's Lanka calls for a joint struggle. You will achieve nothing if you try to achieve power through undemocratic means, says former President Mahinda Rajapaksa. No alliance unless under a leadership of the SLFP, says former President Sirisena. Ceylon Mercantile Union reveals true nature of the country's challenges.
Witnessed was footage recorded in Colombo earlier in the day. On International Labour Day, the working masses are attending to their duties. However, the political parties in Sri Lanka celebrate Labour Day with grand celebrations.
The May Day rally of the United National Party took place at the Sugaradasa Indoor Stadium in Colombo under the theme Victory in 2048. United National Party Chairman Vajirabe Wardana, General Secretary Palitharange Bandara, Deputy Leader Ruwan Vijayawardena and National Organizer Sagala Ratnayaka, among others, attended the May Day rally.
During the last election, some MPs from the SJB chose to abstain from voting. We all share the same goal of building an open economy. Therefore, let us unite and work together by forming a parliament and a government. To the Tamil parties, I say that it is futile to distance oneself from this endeavour. If we are to address the issue faced by the Tamil community in this country, let us collaborate within this system, particularly in the parliament as part of the government. The leftist parties said they would not follow these programs as per their principles. We must look into the future and the new programs. I also invite the trade unions to join this endeavour. This invitation is also extended to other movements as well.
The President said that he expects to reach an agreement by the end of the year to solve the ethnic problem that has been a long-standing issue in the country.
අද හෙට ගැන හිතන්න එපා 2048 ගැන හිතන්න. අපි අද හෙට ගැන හිතලා බොරු පොරොන්දු දීලා
Do not focus on short-term policies. Instead, think of 2048. False promises were made to win support for today and tomorrow, and that has led to the present situation. If Parliament is to obtain the support of the people, we need to undertake a new path. If we are to move forward, we have two matters to address. One, we need to solve the ethnic issues in the country. We hope to discuss that matter. I expect to reach an agreement by the end of the year to solve it without betraying anyone. We must protect the majority Sinhalese and the minority Tamils, Muslims and Burghers and move forward. We need to be committed. Youth are calling for a change in the political and economic system. We need to listen to them, create that change. We are hoping to take several measures to address that. First is to appoint 5 members to the Parliament Select Committee and Sectoral Oversight Committee, and we hope to complete the appointments in May. The Jana Sabha draft will be presented to Parliament following former Speaker Karo Jayasuriya's proposal. From there, let's agree to build a new economy, new constitution and move forward.
සූර්ය මහත්මයාගේ යෝජනාව අනුව අපි ජන සභා කෙටුම්පතත් පාර්ලිමේන්තුවට ඉදිරිපත් කරනවා. එතන ඉඳන් අපි ඔක්කොම එකඟ වෙලා මේ නව ආර්ථිකය හදමු. නව ව්‍යවස්ථාවක් හදමු. අපි ඉදිරියට යමු.
Cultural events added colour to the UNP May Day rally.
Late President J.R. Jayawardena was elected president in his 70s. He served for 2 terms and made massive changes in the country. Here's my prediction. Ranil Wickremesinghe is president in his 70s and he too will bring about changes and a future for the youth of the country. He would also serve for 2 terms. Within a short period, we were moved out of bankruptcy. Everyone must come to a common platform, casting aside all differences to save this country. The leadership for that will be provided by President Ranil Wickremesinghe, as only he can do it. President Ranil Wickremesinghe said we need to secure victory by 2048. If we are to achieve that, we need to ensure that our leader Ranil Wickremesinghe is the president of the country by the 1st of May 2024. In addition, we need to form a UNP-led government by May of 2024 together with other allied parties.
The May Day rally of the Samagi Jana Balawegaya took place at the A.E. Gunasinghe grounds in Colombo. It was themed Vadabimen Arambina Maubime Aragalaya, translated to the struggle for the motherlands from the workplace. The May Day procession commenced from the P.D. Sirisena grounds in Maligavatta on Monday afternoon. They reached Gunasinghapura, passing through Maligavatta, Maradana Technical Junction. The May Day rally commenced thereafter at the A.E. Gunasinghe grounds.
गायन गीतिका यतिनयातिका देवियन हट नैसे देवियन हट नैसे
සජිත් ප්‍රේමදාස පැතුම් සම්ප්‍රාප්තන මොහොත අනාගත නායකතුමන්ට දානිවන්සේ රටටමයි සජිත් ජනාද ගැස්මේ සිහිනයයි සජිත් ගමට නගරයට එකලෙසට සජිත්
අපි දේශපාලනය කරන්නේ පදවි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ. අපි දේශපාලනය කරන්නේ සිස්ටම් එක වෙනස් කරලා. අපි රාජ්‍ය තනතුරු වලට කෑදර කමින් කෙලහලන මහජන නියෝජිත.
We do not engage in politics expecting positions. We engage in politics to change the system. We are not a group of public representatives who are greedy for positions. There are individuals like that in our political fora. This is my message to them. Do not engage in double standard activities. Do not have your limbs all over the place. If you wish, you can stay here. If not, leave. We do not have anyone like that. I am just speaking hypothetically. What we have is a government that wanted commissions from the Japanese government. We have a government that paid for a fertilizer ship that no one saw. We have a government that is paying compensation for Airbus planes that do not exist. We have a government that looted from the Express Pearl disaster. We have a government that commits fraud. Some ask, will we join the government? We will form a government with an SJB president. We do not need to wait until 2048. Under an SJB government, we will deploy Harsha De Silva, Kabir Hashim, Eran Vikram Ratna and our experts and intellectuals, as well as the youth, to build the economy. And the only political party that possesses such a group is the SJB-led Samagi Jana Alliance. Our next exercise is to defeat the Rajapaksa shadow government that protects the rogues and the corrupt. That will be a massive national revolution.
කොල්ලකරුවන් රකින්න ආණ්ඩුව ගෙදර යවීමේ දැවැන්ත ජාතික විප්ලවය දියත් කිරීමයි කියන එක මම මේ අවස්ථාවේ ඔබ සියලු දෙනාටම ප්‍රකාශ කරන්න කැමැතියි.
පාලකයෝ දූෂිතයි නම් මේ වැඩ කරන වැඩබිමේ ජනතාවගේ අයිතිවාසිකම් ඉෂ්ට වෙන්නේ නැහැ.
If the rulers are corrupt, the rights of the working people will never be achieved. You need to rise up to save this country from the corrupt. The current ruler tried to introduce the Anti-Terrorism Act. He is trying to bring forward this legislation to name you as the terrorist. He celebrated May Day at the Sugadadasa Stadium. However, he is trying to bring forward the Anti-Terrorism Act to imprison laborers and increase the powers of the police and army to detain them. The police officers and military personnel need to understand this. Do not allow anyone to introduce these laws by using you. The suffering your children go through is not understood by this ruler. He does not understand the pulse of the people. He is not aware that you have no food at home. Furthermore, he does not understand the suffering of the people. The Colombo 7 rulers do not understand that the country is falling into an abyss. It is said that he will attend the king's coronation in the UK next week. That is all what he does.
රාජාභිෂේකයටත් යනවලු ලබන සුමානේ. ඒවා තමයි යා කරන්නේ.
මේ මැයි දිනය අපි සමරන්නේ රනිල්
We are celebrating May Day in an era where Ranil Wickremesinghe is the president and the SLPP is in the government. Next May Day, we will celebrate under President Sajith Premadasa after sending Ranil Wickremesinghe home. This president is inviting us to form a national government. How can we engage in governance with those who made this country bankrupt, those who buried this country in debt, and those who made this country a failed state? We cannot do that. Therefore, we will form our own government.
කරන්න බෑ. ඒ නිසා අපිට අපේ ආණ්ඩුවක් හදන්න පුළුවන්.
The May Day rally of the Sri Lanka Podujana Perumana took place at Campbell Park in Boralla under a theme to overcome obstacles and secure the aspirations. The May Day rally was led by SLPP leader Mahinda Rajapaksa.
Some criticize us heavily. In 2004, those who claimed they had the remote to the government are the ones who helped us come into power. The SLPP will not hesitate. We will make the right decision at the right time. We had to start from COVID at a point when the economy had collapsed. We accept some wrong decisions led us there. We understand where we went wrong. Even our own trade union leaders faced issues during recent trade union actions. We will never abandon any of them. Some trade unions affiliated to political parties use others as scapegoats to fulfill their intentions. Our people should not be deceived by those. You will be left with nothing if you attempt to snatch power through undemocratic means. We stand by workers' rights and the working masses.
යාම අවසානයේ මුත් ලැබෙන්නේ නැහැ. සම්පර්ක අයිතීන් වලට ජය වේවා. වැඩ කරන ජනතාවට ජය වේවා.
අපේ අභිලාෂය මේ රට
We envision a country that stands on its own 2 feet instead of one which depends on other nations for loans and celebrates those.
බවට පත් කිරීමේ අභිලාෂය අපිට තියෙනවා පක්ෂයක් හැටියට.
අරගල කරුවන්ට මූණ දීලා
On the occasion where we are nearing 1 year since facing the Aragalaya, I wish to convey that we will wash away the mud of the Bere and rise up from the ashes of our burnt homes to stand tall with the SLPP and Mahinda Rajapaksa. Look at Mahinda Rajapaksa glowing. In 2015, he looked glum and started glowing in 2016. Similarly, in 2022, he looked out of it. But now he is back again. We will win any election for the 4th time.
කරනවා කියන පණිවිඩය ලබා දෙමින් පොදු ජන පෙරමුණට ජය වේවා. පාර්ලිමේන්තුව වටලන්න ආපු හඳුන් නෙත්තිලා
The Handun Nettis and Lal Kantas who surrounded Parliament have not even been summoned to provide a statement. Although Anura accuses us of striking deals, the real deal maker is the leader of the JVP. Vimal Veeravansa has written a book on a local conspiracy. He is the one who wrote books about economic assassins and provided facts to the opposition and international community. He thinks we have forgotten. Investors came into the country after our win in 2019. Who chased them away? Those are the same conspirators who caused this disaster. Who called for Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa to resign? Was it our opponents? No. The enemies from within did it. They say Mahinda Rajapaksa is good, but Basil is not. How many called for Mahinda Rajapaksa's resignation? How many from within wanted it? The same people are the ones in small huts and are on helicopters now. Our people are not slaves. If someone worships Mahinda, they are branded slaves. We will not allow you to establish a government even if we are killed. The next government and the next president will be from the SLPP.
ආණ්ඩුව පීඩවන්න අපි දෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඊළඟ ආණ්ඩුව විතරක් නෙමෙයි. ඊ බාහිර ජනාධිපති තෝරන්නේ අපේ පක්ෂයෙන් කෙනෙක් තමුන්නාසට මතක් කර.
The May Day rally of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party took place opposite the Kandy Central Market. It was held under a theme to emerge stronger. The May Day rally began following a procession from the Edmund Silva grounds in Deyanwala, Kandy.
I would like to make it clear that no matter who speak, no political party or leader will be able to form a government in the future without the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. In addition, the Sri Lanka Freedom Party will not go after anyone. They should come in search of us to form alliances and reach agreements with us. There was a point that we went wrong. That is the local government election. The SLFP, which is a massive party and that engaged in governance with the Bandar Naikas, signed an agreement to contest under the symbol of a party that was unknown to the people. Unfortunately for us, the election has been delayed. That is a blessing for us. We were saved by that.
දෙවියන් වහන්සේ බැලුවා කියලායි මම හිතන්නේ. ඒකෙන් තමුන්නාන්සලත් බේරුණා, අපිත් බේරුණා, පක්ෂයත් බේරුණා, රටත් බේරුණා.
The May Day rally of the JVP took place opposite the Viharamadevi Park in Colombo. The JVP May Day rally was led by its leader Anukumara Dissanayake from BRC grounds in Colombo. The JVP May Day rally was held under a theme to defeat the corrupt governance that loots the country and to build a people-friendly administration.
ජාත්‍යන්තර ණය කපන්න කලින් ආණ්ඩුව අරන් තියෙන දේශීය ණය කපන්න. මොකද ආණ්ඩුවේ ණය තියෙන ට්‍රිලියන 27ක් රුපියල් කෝටි 27 ලක්ෂයෙන් ට්‍රිලියන 14ක් කෝටි ලක්ෂ 14ක් විදේශීය ණය. රුපියල් කෝටි.
The government has decided to go for domestic debt restructuring before external debt restructuring. The government is in debt to the tune of 27 trillion rupees. 14 trillion rupees is external debt. 13 trillion rupees is domestic debt. They are trying to restructure domestic debt. Commercial banks and financial institutions have given debt to the government. 1 out of 3 of this debt comes from the EPF and ETF. What are they proposing now? They want to slash the domestic debt. People deposited money with the banks lent the money to the government, and the government wants that money slashed. 2 leading private banks in the country have rejected this offer. Ranil Wickremesinghe tells Parliament that if no one agrees to this, the banks should take control of the economy. He is threatening them. People deposited money with the banks lent the money to the government, and the government has looted that money. Now they want it slashed. This places the entire banking system in a dangerous position. 96% of the EPF debt is to the government. That is the money of the working masses. The EPF has issued 3,500 billion rupees to the government as debt. They are trying to slash the debt given by the EPF. 8% of the private sector employees' monthly salary goes to the EPF. 12% is given by the employer. That money was given as debt to the government. This is the money of the working masses and not the money of Ranil Wickremesinghe. They are trying to slash the people's money.
සාධකර මුදලට එනවා. ඒ සල්ලි මොකද කරන්නේ? ආණ්ඩුවට ණයට දුන්නා. දැන් කපන්න හදනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ මොකද්ද? වැඩ කරන කර්මාන්තශාලාවේ, වැඩ කරන ආයතනයේ, වැඩ කරන සේවකයාගේ ධනය. මේ රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහල උපයාගත්තු ධනය නෙවෙයි. මම මහජනයාගේ ධනය. වැඩ කරන ජනතාවගේ ධනය. කප්පාදු කරන්න හදනවා. වෘත්තීය සමිති ව්‍යාපාරය තුල අකණ්ඩ මහවැඩ වර්ජනයක් අවශ්‍ය.
There is a discussion for a continuous strike by the trade union movement. This is a message to the people. Yes, we need a strike. Everyone has been inconvenienced. Therefore, what is required is a struggle that involves all the people in the country. At times when the trade unions demanded things, the people did not feel it because they could manage with what they had. If there is a medical strike, electricity strike, they are affected. If that is not the case, you cannot reap the results of that strike. Such strikes are of no use. At this moment, everyone is under pressure. Therefore, all these people need to be brought together with all the movements for a public struggle. The mandate is against this corrupt regime. How can we survive? Some question as to what can be done if there is no election. We can cancel them, and that can be done by a people's struggle with all the people.
ජනතාව මූලික කරගත් බහුජන අරගලයකින් කියන එක මේ මොහොතේ අපි ලාංකීය පීඩිත ජනයාට
ආරාධනා කරනවා මතක් කරනවා.
The May Day procession of the Frontline Socialist Party took place from the Delkada junction to the Ananda Samarakun Open Air Theatre in Nugegoda. It was held under a theme for a people's force against the IMF death trap and against US Indian colonization.
අරගලේ සම්පූර්ණේ නැහැ. අරගලේ අරමුණු තාමත් ඉතුරු වෙලා තියෙනවා. තාමත් අපේ ආර්ථික අර්බුද වලට උත්තර නැහැ. ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාදය තවම
The Aragalaya is incomplete. Some of the objectives remain to be achieved. Solutions to the economic issues are yet to be provided. We are yet to achieve democracy. The looted money was not recovered. The billions of dollars hidden overseas were never recovered. The Ranil Rajapaksa clan is again trying to secure their power. Only the working masses can complete the objectives of the Aragalaya. We invite all political groups and activists to join with us to defeat this situation. Thereafter, we can engage in our political journeys. We invite all political parties in parliament and not in parliament to join with us in this joint effort. Let us build a short-term interim government. That government should be formed by all groups in the opposition. In addition, public opposition should also be made stakeholders in that government, in addition to the opposition groups in parliament and outside of parliament. But before that, we need to drive away this corrupt government. Thereafter, we can bring about the solution I spoke about. Within 6 months, we can pass a new constitution and abolish the executive presidency. We need to introduce a new electoral system and change the unjust tax system. Then we can go for a general election as well.
බදු ප්‍රතිපත්ති වෙනස් කරන නීති රීති මේ අලුත් ව්‍යවස්ථාවට ගේමු. ගෙනල්ලා අපි ඉක්මනින් මහමැතිවරණකට යමු. කෙටි කාලීනව.
The Freedom People's Congress also organized a May Day rally in Kandy. The procession commenced from DS Senanayaka Street and proceeded to Sahas Uyana in Kandy. Their theme was to rise against hunger, suppression and influence.
The anti-terrorism bill is the most dangerous piece of legislation that was presented to Parliament during my entire career in the Parliament. This bill includes provisions for detention orders, restriction orders and prescribing orders. If this bill was passed, there will be no future for the labour movement. Under that, any trade union activity will be termed as terrorism and you will be jailed for 20 years. We were able to delay that. Justice Minister Vijayadasa Rajapaksa said last week that it would be delayed indefinitely. He did that with utmost hesitancy. The government had to take a step because of the opposition that was voiced against it. The Uttara Lanka Sabhagaya, a breakaway faction of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, held a May Day rally in Hyde Park, Colombo. Their procession commenced from the Colombo National Library.
Some assume that Ranil Wickremesinghe is talented and that his path is correct. But he is leading us to hell. If Ranil is carrying out the agenda of the US, no one will raise a red flag claiming that democracy was undermined. The human rights bodies in the West would not panic. It would be an issue for them if he becomes a dictator, as long as their agenda is in play. We need to understand that we have fallen into an abyss linked to global politics. We have reached a point where we would likely lose economic independence. Therefore, the working masses have to think about this situation while thinking about their rights and issues. The country does not want a Western-based journey. The country needs a governance that positions the country against it. Then 50% of the issues will be solved.
හරියට ලෝකේ ස්ථානගත වෙන්න පුළුවන් පාරණයක්. ඒකෙන් ප්‍රශ්න 150ක් විසඳනවා.
The May Day rally of the Ceylon Mercantile Union, which was led by Bala Thampo for a very long time, took place at the CMU head office premises.
The president is speaking of stability and salaries. That salary is being used to settle the housing loans and vehicle leases. When the payment is made, you become helpless. However, if you are not settling them, your expenses are even higher because of the interest rates. Then one day, the bank will foreclose your house. That is what has happened now. They do not want the money, they want our assets. That is why they want to sell the companies like SLT, CPC and so on, because they don't want our money. They have cornered us with debt and demand our assets. That is worth more than the money we have. India will not agree for a 20% haircut. If China says no, and if the private creditors say no, that is where the issues lie. They won't come to the table. They have not even started to negotiate.
The Professionals Trade Union Collective celebrated May Day at the Public Library Auditorium.
A company is bankrupt since the day it declares it cannot repay the loans. That means Sri Lanka's economy remains bankrupt as we have not commenced the repayment process. We have to pay around $7 billion this year for debt servicing. We have requested for $2.9 billion for 4 years without having to pay that $7 billion. So when there is no demand for the US dollar, the rupee will eventually appreciate. When we start repaying the debt and when we lift import restrictions, on that day the true nature of the rupee will be revealed. Our analysts say the rupee could depreciate to around 500 or 600 against the dollar.
Sri Lanka started to celebrate Labour Day some 38 years later under Labour leader A.E. Gunasinghe. The idea of Labour Day in Sri Lanka was born on the 1st of May 1891 and the first Labour Day celebration in Sri Lanka was held in 1927, led by A.E. Gunasinghe. The labour movement in Sri Lanka was given life by A.E. Gunasinghe and its impact led to multiple victories for the working masses in Sri Lanka. The statue of the late A.E. Gunasinghe, who led the labour struggle to achieve many victories, is located in Gunasinghapura, Colombo. It was declared open on the 1st of May 1978 by the late President Ranasinghe Premadasa. While many political parties celebrated May Day in style, this was the state of the A.E. Gunasinghe Memorial. On any other year, the A.E. Gunasinghe Memorial receives a fresh layer of paint. However, this is the state of the statue that has been neglected at present. In addition, it was unfortunate to note that no floral tributes were placed at this memorial to remember Sri Lanka's first labour leader. On the day of International Labour Day, News First salutes the working masses of Sri Lanka who carry the burden of Sri Lanka's economy. We are all indebted to you and your service. Once again, on behalf of all of us here at News First, we salute you. In more local news, the 30th death anniversary of President Ranasinghe Premadasa took place earlier today at the Premadasa Memorial in Halfsdorf, Colombo.
Ranasinghe Premadasa died on the 1st of May 1993 while serving as the second executive president of Sri Lanka. The memorial was held under the auspices of the opposition leaders Sajith Premadasa, Hema Premadasa and family. Several groups including religious leaders and politicians were also present at the memorial.
In general, during that time, when political transformations took place, he won the mandate of the people democratically. He was great enough to render his services in all forms of development, whether it's cultural, economical, religious, etc. All those services are fruitful even as of today.
Former MP Mujibur Rahman paid floral tributes to the statue of the late Ranasinghe Premadasa, following which the group, including the opposition leader, paid their floral tributes. A statue of the late Ranasinghe Premadasa, designed by Juliet Pereira, who worked at the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation, was also presented to opposition leader Sajith Premadasa. A commemoration of T.B. Ilangaratne, who was instrumental in declaring May Day a public holiday, was held at the Ilangaratne Memorial at Sri Uttarananda Mawatha, Colombo 3. The ceremony took place under the patronage of former Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa.
Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena will also join our May Day rally, and it is not the opposition that should make that proposal. If that proposal is to be made, the Podujana Perumana and our ruling party should do it. But we must make it clear that political decisions are not made on the stage of May Day.
News first with the people.
Sri Lanka reduced fuel prices with effect from Sunday night.
Fuel prices were reduced with effect from midnight yesterday. A 92-octane petrol was reduced by 7 rupees to 333 rupees. 95-octane petrol was reduced by 10 rupees to 365 rupees. Auto diesel was reduced by 15 rupees to 310 rupees. Super diesel was reduced by 135 rupees to 330 rupees. However, kerosene prices were not amended. Lanka IOC also reduced its fuel prices to match CPC prices.
4 people have been arrested for cultivating cannabis within the Yala National Park.
The Police Special Task Force arrested 4 people for cultivating cannabis within the Yala National Park. The Police Special Task Force conducted a raid on Saturday using drones based on a tip-off received by the STF personnel attached to the Buttala STF camp. A 2.5-acre plot of land with around 100,000 cannabis plants was found during the raid, following which 4 people were arrested with a locally manufactured firearm and 4 mobile phones. The arrested suspects, residents of Tanamalvila, were handed over to the Kathragama police station for further investigation.
The chairman of the China Merchants Group, China's largest diversified conglomerate, who was on a visit to Sri Lanka, says the group's latest investment plans will up its accumulated investments in the island to reach nearly $2 billion.
Chairman of the China Merchants Group, Miao Jianming, who is on his first visit to the country, attended a signing and ribbon-cutting ceremony held at the Hambantota International Port for 15 projects. The China Merchants Group, which entered the Sri Lankan market in 2008, accumulated a total investment of $1.68 billion as at the beginning of 2023. The group had just signed another investment agreement with the Sri Lankan government with plans to invest $400 million to build a modern logistics center in Colombo. The new development will up China Merchants Group's accumulated investment in Sri Lanka to reach over $2 billion, marking it the largest foreign investment enterprise in the island.
Egypt has proposed to establish an Arab Sri Lanka Business Council to promote trade and investments.
Ambassador of the Arab Republic of Egypt to Sri Lanka, Maged Mosleh, paid a courtesy call on Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena recently. Ambassador Mosleh said Egypt is pursuing with the Arab Ambassadors Forum to establish an Arab Sri Lanka Business Council to promote trade, tourism and investments. He said the groundwork has been prepared for this through discussions with relevant authorities and the chambers of commerce. The Prime Minister requested the ambassador to explore potential investments in hospitality industry as well as setting up export industries in export industrial zones in Sri Lanka, as many incentives have been offered to foreign investors.
Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has announced Turkish intelligence forces have killed the suspected leader of the ISIS group, Abu al-Hussein al-Husseini al-Qureshi.
Erdogan said Turkish intelligence had been monitoring the alleged leader of the hardline group for a long time before launching their operation. Erdogan said in an interview with TRT Turk broadcaster on Sunday, quote, "This individual was neutralized as part of an operation by the Turkish National Intelligence Organization in Syria yesterday," unquote. Erdogan added, quote, "We will continue our struggle with terrorist organizations without any discrimination," unquote. Syrian local and security sources said the raid took place near the northern Syrian town of Jinderes, which is controlled by Turkey-backed rebel groups and was among the worst affected areas in the February 6th earthquake that hit both Turkey and Syria. There was no announcement from ISIS. The Syrian National Army, an opposition faction with a security presence in the area, did not immediately issue any comment.
Scrabble is a globally recognized mind sport and world game that has been enjoyed by many despite their age for several decades. Recently, the Senior Citizens Scrabble Tournament 2023, organized by the Sri Lanka Association of Senior Citizens, was held in Colombo. News First Theruni Karunaratne reports.
I am at the Senior Citizens Scrabble Tournament 2023 and now playing a friendly game with Sarojini Nagendran, who is a senior player of this year's tournament. The atmosphere in the play area is very competitive. However, in between games, what you can see is these senior citizens enjoying meeting their friends, discussing their games, and overall, close-knit interactions. Now, Scrabble has become increasingly popular among children, youth, adults, and senior citizens alike as a word game that is entertaining, educational, and also good for mental health. Scrabble is a timeless game that has been enjoyed by people of all ages for many decades. For senior citizens, this game is not limited to enjoyment or competition. Playing Scrabble enables senior citizens to achieve certain health goals and has a positive effect on the social aspects of their lives as well. The Senior Citizens Scrabble Tournament 2023 was graced by Dr. Shanti Jayawardena, who arrived early to meet the competitors and see them in action.
It is gratifying to see the diversity and age range of those participating in the tournament today. As the number of older persons in Sri Lanka is rising, the role played by organizations such as yours is ever more important. Broadly speaking, older people are more likely to become socially isolated. Therefore, it is necessary that they stay intellectually active and engaged.
This is what Padmini Fernando, the president of the Sri Lanka Association of Senior Citizens, had to say.
The tournament has been running for about 23 years. The club, in fact, has been running for about 35 years. There is no bar in terms of ethnicity or religion, race or anything like that. It's for everybody who is an elder. Our memories may not be as sharp as they were, but playing games like Scrabble, Ludo and things like that, I think it's important because it keeps us mentally active.
President of the Sri Lanka Scrabble League, Priya Fernando, had the following to say.
This is the only tournament that the elders play because they cannot take part in physical tournaments. Lots of people come from all over the country to play this tournament. So this is a very good way for the elders to enjoy the game, and also it's good to strengthening their brains.
Competitors expressed the importance of this tournament to them.
They share their memories and their knowledges, and then they exchange their views by which they further develop their energy and also their aging capacity.
This tournament is very special, mainly for the elders, because they don't get much chance to play in major tournaments, and I think this is very good for all the oldies, and most of our people, they don't get Alzheimer because they learn a lot of words.
These courageous senior citizens play Scrabble to challenge age with a touch of style. This is the Senior Citizens Scrabble Tournament, where every competitor is a winner. I'm Theruni Karunaratne, reporting for News First.
And that's a wrap of primetime news for tonight. For the News First team, I'm Zaima Ratnaika. Do remember to take care, stay safe, and have yourselves a great Monday night.